All right, so this is our plan for week 9. This is actually our last Monday together, which is crazy. We're nearing the end, or like the final push. So this week is the big one because of your last test. And then next week I only see you Wednesday and Friday. So we'll do a little bit of like a review activity for you to do on Wednesday, and we'll kind of just like wrap everything up on Friday. So Monday is obviously today. We're going to do that warm up, and we're going to talk about your chapter test review so that you can be prepared for Wednesday. And then Wednesday you'll come in with your test just like before. Second device logging on for the camera. Other device for preferably your iPad, but doesn't have to be. For your test itself, you will need either scrap pieces of paper or your Notability, so you can split the screen. You're going to access it through Safari again, just like before. You can use notes, you can use calculator, everything kind of just like it's been since we've been social distancing. And then Friday, hopefully I'll be able to kind of like go over questions on the test. I do know that I'm going to have quite a few makeups because of APU, but hopefully I can at least go over some of the common stuff. Okay, so we're going to do, this should just be P4. I think I changed it. On yours, this is your P4 warm-up. It's just this one question because really all that's getting pulled from P4 is the intercepts and the symmetry. So that's what this question says. Find the intercepts and the symmetry. To find the x-intercepts, I'm going to plug 0 in for y. From here, I can take out either an x or a negative x, and it doesn't matter which one you do. But if I did x, negative x, then it would be x squared plus 3. Nope, x plus 3, not x squared. If you took out just an x, it would be x minus 3. It would still work out to be the same. It would be negative x minus 3. So then I can set each of these equal to 0. I get negative x equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, and I get x equals 0 here, and x equals negative 3. So 2 x-intercepts, 0, 0, and negative 3, 0. Because an x-intercept is 0, 0, hopefully that reminds you that a y-intercept should also be 0, 0, but we're going to test it by plugging 0 in for x to see if there's any more. So y equals negative 0 squared minus 3 times 0 means y is 0. So we already knew that 1 was 1, kind of just confirms it. And if there was more than 1, you would add that. Okay, then symmetry. To test for x-axis symmetry, we're going to plug in a negative y. It changes just the negative. It's not going, on the y, it's not going back to positive. And it doesn't change all the other signs. So it would say no for x-axis. Then for y-axis, I'm going to change the x. So I get y equals negative x squared minus 3 times negative x, and I get y equals negative x squared plus 3x. So it doesn't go back to the original for all of it, and it doesn't change for all of it, which again means no. And then for the last one, you're going to plug in a negative x and a negative y. So negative y equals negative x squared minus 3 negative x. And some of it changes and some of it does not, which means there'd be none for the origin either. So this question on your test is like a checkbox one, and you're going to check all that apply. So if it was x and y and origin, you would check all 3. If it was x and origin or y and origin, you would check those. And if it's none, you're going to check none. Questions on that one? So I'll just kind of like go through this real fast. Your 10-1, they're separate, 10-1 and then they're 2 different PDFs. The 10-1 is the first one, and this is where we're looking for, so this was your 3-dimensional points, and you're looking for the distance, which is x2 minus x1, plus y2 minus y1 squared plus z2 minus z1 squared. So distance will either be a simplified square root or it will be a number once you simplify it. The midpoint, you're going to do x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2, and z1 plus z2 over 2. So midpoint should be 3 coordinates. That would be multiple choice because it's just easier to grade it that way instead of having to worry about the format. And then the last thing is the sphere, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared plus z minus j squared equals the radius squared. So when you get to those questions, it will be like, I mean, it kind of goes exactly through what this is. The first one's distance, right? So this is distance. This one's midpoint. And then this one is the equation of the sphere where you're taking that information and plugging it in. And this is the complete the square of the sphere. So we had complete the square 2 places, one in this section and then one on P1. So it's just in the sphere. I'm not going to make you do it twice. It is in the sphere though. You are going to have to group this, complete the square for the x, the y, the z, and then find the radius and the center from your equation. Questions on 10.1. Everybody's good, right? Okay, then came chapter P. So I highlighted the ones I want you to for review in pink. So it's there, like each section is there, but you have to look for the ones that are in pink. So in P1, this was the equation ones. We start with the fractional ones where we got to get rid of the equation. You want to remember to check your solutions on like something like 32, where you've got a variable in the denominator. You've got to make sure you check that there's no extraneous root. So anytime there's a variable in the denominator, you want to check. Then we got into square roots. So like I said, I didn't do a complete the square here because you're completing your square with your sphere. Continuing with P1, you also had the quadratic formula. So obviously you want to have that either written down or memorized. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Then we get to the even root property and the factoring. So this one down here, those are factoring. So you're going to get different kinds of factoring. Factoring by grouping, trinomials, different 2 squares. It could be anything like that. Excuse me. And then your square root functions. These are the other ones that you have to make sure that you check. So anytime there's a variable under the square root, you want to check your solutions again for extraneous roots. So that's true for like 124 and 132. That's where you would be raising it to the opposite or to the reciprocal. Then came P2. So P2 was your inequalities. Inequalities where you're just solving equations, compound inequalities, absolute inequalities, quadratic inequalities. And you're going to have to graph these on your answer sheet. So you're going to answer the question on Canvas, and then your answer for your graph is going to go right on your answer sheet. So you want to make sure you're labeling your information nice and clear so I can find it. So 60 was one of your inequalities, and then 65 and 69 are your absolute values. So remember here, if the absolute value is less than, it becomes an and statement. If the absolute value is greater than, it becomes an or statement. And so you split the or statement. And then we got to quadratics here at the bottom. So these are the ones that you have to test points. You're going to solve it. You're going to set up your number line. You're going to put your answers on your number line. And you're going to plug in points from those ranges to figure out which ones work and which ones don't. Questions on those? Okay, and then came P4, which was your graphing, and this is just intercepts. So here it's intercepts. The x-intercept, we plug 0 in for y. The y-intercept, we plug 0 in for x. And here we've got symmetry. So x-axis symmetry, we change the y to negative y. Y-axis, we change the x to negative x, and then the origin, x goes to negative x, and y goes to negative y. So we change both. And that's it. That's what your test is going to cover. That's going to be your last test. So hopefully you're careful. Hopefully we get to keep going. If you're doing really well on these tests, giving your reference sheet and your calculator and all that stuff, hopefully that just continues. Okay, but again, it will be Wednesday. I think there's, I forget how many questions there are. There's around 10, but I know there's more than 10 this time. Any questions for me? Everybody's good? Okay, I have a quizzes for us to do. So if you'll either split your screen so you can have scrap, or get a piece of paper so you can have scrap. And I will post this link for those that are not here with us. But if you will, go to joinmyquiz.com and then enter the game code 747403. That you're going to have to get everything to one side. I would move the 3 to the right so it's positive. So I get 0 is greater than or equal to, this would be a positive 3x squared plus 6x, because that's already positive, and then move the 45 so it's negative 45. You can actually divide all this by 3 and make your numbers a little bit easier to deal with, because then the number on the front is not, is just 1. And then when I factor this, it's x plus 5 and x minus 3. And I get negative 5 and positive 3. And then that's where I'm going to set up my number line. Negative 5, 3. If I plug in 0 and I plug it into that original 3, I get 45 is greater than or equal to 0, which is true. So again, that's the section that gets included. That would be negative 5 less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 3. And then we got the inequality with the absolute value. So we've got absolute value, y plus 5 is less than 2. Less than is your and statement. Negative 2 goes on the other side. Y plus 5 stays that way. Subtract the 5. Negative 7 is less than y, which is less than negative 3, which is that second choice there. This one, overall pretty good. So we've got 5 over 3 minus 1 over 3v minus 3 equals 1 over v minus 1. So the first thing you want to do is factor this. You can actually take out a 3. And then my least common denominator, what I'm going to multiply all of them by, is 3 times v minus 1. So from the first parenthesis, or from the first fraction, the 3's would cancel, so I have 5 times v minus 1. The second one, the entire denominator would cancel with the entire what we're multiplying by, so I just keep the numerator. And then the last one, the v minus 1's would cancel, so this would be 1 times 3. Distribute this, 5v minus 5 minus 1 equals 3. 5v minus 6 equals 3. Add that 6. And divide by 5. And then this, you have to check, right? Check it here and check it here. The only thing that would have given that a 0 is a positive 1. So I know that answer is okay to keep. Questions on that one? Okay, remember fractions, you want to check your answers. Okay, quadratic equation here. So you want to plug this into the quadratic formula. A is 4, B is negative 5, and C is negative 9. So negative B plus and minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times a, 5 plus and minus the square root of 25 minus 16 times 9, 144. And that's actually a negative and a negative, so it's plus 144 over 8. 5 plus and minus the square root of 169 over 8 is 13 over 5 plus and minus 13. So 5 plus 13 over 8, 5 minus 13 over 8, 18 over 8, which becomes 9/4, and negative 8 over 8, which becomes negative 1, which is that first choice. Oh. So it was the square root of 2x plus 3 greater than 5. I want to square both sides of this equation. So I get 2x plus 3 is greater than 25, and then just solve it. Subtract the 3. 2x is greater than 22. Divide by 2, and x is greater than 11. And again, that'd be one that you would graph. Intercepts, you guys did good. Symmetry, just be really careful there. Somebody put x-axis, so it's just the y-axis. And solving, moving everything to one side and factoring, you guys did good too. All right. Any questions for me overall on anything that's on your test? Remember, your review is posted. It's due on Wednesday, but I put it as non-graded because most of those answers are posted, and then whatever not already posted, I will post. Like the even questions, I will post the solutions too, so that you can be checking while you're working. If you are not, I know Valentina, you emailed me, you're going to take it Thursday, right? But remember that if you're not going to be in class on Wednesday for your test, you need to fill out that survey so that I know when you're going to take your makeup. Your options were either Thursday during my other class periods or Friday at noon. So just make sure you're prepared to do one of those. Our window is very short after this test. I only see you 2 more times. So any questions for me? Everybody good? All right, I'm gonna let you head out a little early. If you've got a question and you don't want to ask, well, there's 13 of us, you can hang back. But if not, have an awesome day. Good luck on your AP if I don't see you for Wednesday. Jackie, you can head out. Janet, you can. Yeah. Oh wait, you're hang on, you're breaking up. I don't. Tori, yes, you can take your test if you want to take it to get it over with on Wednesday. Of course, take it with the rest of the class. But Valentina, can you say that again because you were breaking up? Yeah, he said something about, but you could take it Friday too if you want to. I'm not going to force you to take it Wednesday, so you choose. You could take that with the makeup on Friday at noon. So, yeah. So go, I'm going to give you another opportunity to take that survey just so I can keep track of them because I got to know who's supposed to be in which one. And I have to assign the makeup. So let me go back into the survey and give you another opportunity to take it and then go in and change your answer. Oh, you haven't even taken it? Then you still have an opportunity. Hang on, let me check. Oh yeah, you still can take it. Just go under quizzes and go down to surveys. And it says like test availability. And then all the options there for the makeup. So just pick the one, which if it's Friday, then pick Friday. You're welcome. All right, the rest of you guys can head out unless you've got questions. Samantha and Danny and Makai and Tori and Haley and Nicole and Julia, you guys have a great day. I will see you Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, whenever I see you next. You're good, Valentina? Yes, okay. Okay. You're welcome. Good luck on your test.